Hello, we'll start now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this track. This track is about social inclusion. This is the first time in NC Summit we have this topic. So my name is Louis. I'm from Dialogue Experience. Maybe you heard of the Dialogue in the Dark. I'm working there. I'm mainly empowering our POD, which is you may know as people with if you know this is people with disabilities. I'm enable them to work in a mainstream workplace. So today we have two speakers joining us. First is Sarah from FAST China. Sarah is a CSER director from FAST. Let's welcome Sarah. Okay. And also Kenneth. Kenneth is the CEO of Humana. So to start with, we start with presenting the souvenir first. It's easier. And you have a good picture. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Just like that. Thank you.
Okay. Group photo first. Okay, keep. Okay, one more. Okay, one more. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Please take a seat. Kenny? Kenny? Kenny, let's see. Okay. So today's topic is about new inclusive power. I'm quite sure you don't know what this is all about, and now we have had about 1.5 hours to discuss what is inclusive power and what's new inclusive power. And let me welcome again Sarah and Kenneth. So Sarah is from FAST China, which is a MNC, which is a Fortune 500 company, a huge company, and you are based in Zhuhai, 对吗? And Sarah is in Zhuhai. There is a huge operations over there. So she will share what's going on in her company. And Kenneth is from the Mesa. And I tried the website, and I think I will be your customer soon. Too young? No way. Yeah. And I will let Kenneth to share what's the purpose and what's going on in the human side. First, I let Sarah to do your presentation. Thank you.
This is okay? So thanks everybody to join this session. My name is Sarah and I work in Zhuhai. So Zhuhai is just 1 hour with the ferry. So we are Hong Kong's neighbor. And has anybody been to Zhuhai yet? Yes. So I work for a US company. We are the Fortune 500 enterprise, and our biggest factory is in Zhuhai. And we are not an entrepreneur. We are also not a social business. We are a manufacturer and we focus on profit. Still, we have some connection with social inclusion and innovation, inclusive design. And I'm going to introduce you into this in the next couple of minutes. So first is like who is Flex, just a quick introduction, like who am I representing. Then I introduce the operation department, which I'm leading in this factory. It's called MIF. Then we talk about inclusive design, about management system, and then about also inclusive benefits. So all from a company perspective. So a snapshot, who is Flex? Our name before, until 2 years ago, was Flextronics. And we are a US company. Our headquarters is in US, and our biggest footprint is in China. Here are a couple of numbers. The most important number is the 200,000, because we have about 200,000 employees. So my work scope is work with people, so that's of course, I'm very happy we have 2,000 employees, because the more people, the more we can do with people. And 100,000 of them are in China, so in China is our biggest footprint. And about 30,000 of them are in Zhuhai. We are worldwide. We have offices and design centers, factories all over the world, except Russia and Antarctica and in Africa. But every other countries we are present. And that's the variety of our product. So our product is very diverse, from a phone to your device, make the hair straight, to medical devices, automotive, aerospace. So we are pretty much present in all kinds of different industries. But you will never find our name on the product, because we are the supplier for the brands. That is a couple of our customers, and I'm pretty sure you are familiar with most of them. So that's Flex. Everything else on Flex you can find on the web page. Now I want to talk about the main reason why I'm here today, and that's the MIF. It's called Mechanically Inclusive Factory. That's a small factory within our big factory, and it was set up last year, and it's designed for people with intellectual disabilities, Down syndrome and autism. So means like all the workers in this factory have either intellectual disability, autism or Down syndrome. And we have set this up last year in December, January, and we had a very great partner to set up this factory. It's the Taizong Inclusion Factory. They have been speaker this morning. Maybe some of you may have heard Marina talking about the factory. And so this Taizong Inclusion Factory is one out of the art in China, and our integrated workshop is also the only one in China like this. And I have a video to introduce you into this project. It's about 4 minutes. It's in English and it has Chinese subtitles.
Every adult was once a child, but some children did not get a chance to grow up as time passed by. They have no friends. They have no jobs. They are not taught how to take care of themselves and how to develop. They are people with intellectual disabilities. They are in need of an open mindset from you and me. There are 85 million people with disabilities, PWDs, in China. The unemployment rate of PWDs stands at 80% to 90%. There are over 12 million people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in mainland China, with an average employment rate of less than 7.5%. Society finds it hard to accept them. Once they leave special education schools, they have nowhere else to go. Flex provides barrier-free employment and began recruiting PWD employees in 2015. There are several hundred PWD employees currently working at Flex.
我们伟创力在做这个融合就业的时候，我们有发现，其实心智障碍者他们的工作几率基本上是零的。
In order to provide more equal and meaningful employment opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities, Flex set up a mechanicals inclusive factory leave in January 2019. Flex partnered with Taizong Inclusive Factory to establish a separate assembly line in Flex Zhuhai and train up people with intellectual disabilities to do simple assembly work.
其实很多人在接触这个项目的时候会认为这个难度会很大，但是其实当你从事了这个辅导员的工作以后，你会发现其实他们是拥有工作能力的。
We've equipped with job coaches and special guidance groups to train the workstation operation.
我们会给他们设计一些辅助的夹具，让他们在工作的时候会更加轻松去组装这个部件，还有耐心的辅导，让他们去掌握这些组装的一些工序。
We've not only provides job coaches to train employees with intellectual disabilities, it also extends personal support and care. In addition, Flex has mapped out career development plans to not only develop their sense of independence, but to also support their learning and future development.
他读了那么多年的特殊学校，他不能够涌到社会。那美川里给了这么一个机会，给凯源这种自闭症的人能够进入这个平台啊，可以给他一个锻炼。去了美川里之后，他有个生活团体，他涌进去了，他开窍，他学会很多东西。说实在，我觉得心里确实踏实了。
Offering jobs to these special children, this is the bridge which connects them with the outside world.
当我们看到他在工作的时候，永远带着微笑的时候，你就知道他们是对这个工作非常的有热情，很渴望去每天的这样子来上班。另外，他们在这个环境里面，他们认识了很多朋友、同事，有了真正的自己的社交圈子。
The jobs at Flex has transformed their outlook in life.
The new project is the best and the most important project for me I have been working on. The plan for this project in the future is to expand it. Now, of course, we are very, very proud to have this new department here, so we want to hire more, and we also hope that other companies, they can work with us together to scale this project, because we believe what we can do, also other companies can do.
Flex will continue to explore opportunities and possibilities for inclusive employment, so that more people can shine on their own stage of life.
So thanks. As you could see, I think as you could see clearly in the video, the inclusive design is a big topic for us, and I think a long time, how to put our inclusive design into a slide to be easy understood, and I just find that's the easiest method. So of course the mindset is very important. And we are very lucky because our leader, our president of the factory, he, in his career plan, he had a very early experience when working with people with disabilities. So at an early stage, he already realized that we talk about people. We talk about mapping somebody's talent and then growing the talent. So we are very lucky because our leader has a very inclusive mindset. Otherwise, it's not possible to do projects like this. And then of course the software and the hardware. So the software, we talk about other employees thinking, and also like IT systems, and hardware is the facility. So that it's very close connected. This has to be inclusive designed, and then the workplace is open, accessible for everybody. And the process, the systems, the management system, so whatever you do, you have to integrate it and transform it into a management system to make it sustainable. Whatever change, if you have a company, whatever change you have, if you have a change of material, a change of machines, a change of maybe a IT program, you have to let it become part of your management system to integrate it into the bones. And the same is also if you have change in your labor, in your employees. So it's a management system approach. Everybody who comes from quality, I think, is very familiar with management systems. And in a big company, that's crucial to make sure it can continue and it can grow. So I want to talk more about this management system because I have just been hired in that a little bit. So when they talk about management system, there's a very straightforward approach, because many people, when they learn about our myth, about this department, they ask us, how can you do that? We can never do that. But in fact, as I also say in the video, if we can do it, it's doable for everybody. There's some key steps. It's good to follow them, but it's not like a very straightforward, like a cooking recipe. So everybody has a different situation. Some key points I want to give here. They are good if you consider them in order to become inclusive. But everybody has their own journey of learning. So did we. So for example, the hiring is a big step. The hiring has to be done in inclusive, means like the people who are doing the interview, they have to be trained about how to communicate with people with disabilities, not only with disabilities, like people who are different. And also the hiring channels. It's the same, the situation is to us, like as Marina mentioned in the morning, that it's not like we have a long line of people waiting outside of our factory, they want to work for us, we really have to look for people. But if we want to hire a senior engineer director, I also have to look for that person. So if you want to hire talent, you have to look for it, but there are multiple ways, and the word of mouth is the best reputation you can have. So, but if you just sit in your office and you think, oh, what can I do, the people will not come and knock on your door. That seldomly happens. It did not happen to us. The communication is very important. For example, in our MIF department, we have adjusted our communication to be, of course, easier, that the people, our workers, can be understood, like they can understand us, vice versa, and we also have included the parents into the communication. Many times we get asked, what was the most obstacle for us when setting up this MIF department, and interestingly, the most obstacle we came across was the parents of these workers, because the parents often have a very strong belief that their kids cannot, and they want to keep their kid protected and not exposed and not exploring this risk of discrimination. And so, but then after time, we hire a few, we hire more, then more and more parents come, they trust us, and when the parents trust, then the kids, I say kids, of course they're not kids, they're older than 18, but it stay their parents' kids, then they are allowed to join us, and then also the parents can see and witness the change. So the communication is very important, and the benefits and compensation. So all our workers in the SMIF department, they receive the same benefits and compensation. So it's not like they earn less or more. For us, we have in total 30,000 employees, so we can only make a project like this if we treat everybody same and equal. I cannot say that, okay, the people, they work less or they earn more, it cannot be verified, it cannot be justified. So everybody has the same benefit package. There's one difference, they don't work in the night shift. So, but they also work their 8 hours per day, and have to also perform their output, of course. The engagement, having a diverse workforce offers a huge variety of, it's a big platform to engage with your staff. And we have many activities in our company. As I just said, like, you need to imagine you have 30,000 employees, so you have to do a crazy program to make sure to meet everybody's needs, because some people, they like dancing, some like the sport, some like the training, some like the team building, some like to go outside. So the MIF workers, they're joining all kind of different activities to be merged with other staff. So engagement is a very crucial component, and by doing that, the other staff also, they have more contact with our MIF workers. And as you know, maybe you are familiar with this contact hypothesis, that if you put people in contact, the more contact people have amongst each other, the more and more they feel comfortable. The more and more they lose their fear. And we can also observe that many times, and we can still observe that if other of our staff, they have contact with MIF people, they also start to realize it's just people. The training development, so that's important for everybody, and for the MIF team, we have worked out a dedicated training development plan, because they don't fit in the standard development plan we have in the company. It's like online, we work with Workday system, but for our MIF people, it's more one-to-one and it's done by the job coach, and the question is a different one, because here we look very on like the social skills. Many times the workers come for us, it's the first time they're spending the day 8 hours away from their family, away from their mom, so there's a lot of like educational work has to be done. So for our MIF workers, the personal development is more important than for other workers. They come from a, I don't want to say normal, but from a different background, from a different family background also. The workstation is very interesting when we talk about inclusive design, because you just saw that they are performing tasks. So the tasks is like assembly, packaging, labeling. Their tasks are the same than other workers. And yet in our MIF department, we break down the work process and we build tools to make sure that our MIF workers can do the tasks very easily, and they don't experience the frustration of failure. So a very easy example is you need to pack 6 shawls into a bag. You know, for us it's relatively easy. We take 6 shawls, we open the bag, we put it inside. For our MIF workers, it may be more difficult to count to 6 and to make sure it stays 6, and to open the bag and to close the bag. So we have made a fixture, a tool, where there's a white plastic part with the 6 black dots. So they just have to fill the screws on these 6 dots, and then they can clap it. On the bottom is the plastic bag, the screws go into the bag, and then they close it. So it's the same, the result is the same when I would do it, but this small simple tool helps them to perform the tasks in 100% quality. And so that's what we also understand under inclusive design. So the workstation is inclusively designed. So that's just out of many tools we built. We are very lucky because we have the tooling department. So whenever I have a need for a tool, I just go to the next house and I say, okay, please help me. I want to perform this, and I want to make sure there's no failure in the work process, and then my tooling engineer helped me to make the design for this picture. So, and then we have a 3D printer, so within 48 hours we can print our own tools to give it to our MIF department. But that's very important when we're talking about inclusive design. Then whatever you do, coming back about this management system, you have to put it down in the procedures. Procedures are crucial to make sure it's everybody's on the same page, they get approved for different departments, and even, for example, I would leave the company, the project will remain there. The project will stay. And we work with the DCC, that's the documentation control system, so procedures have to be updated and evaluated on a regular basis. And then, of course, whatever you do, from time to time you need to evaluate, you need to see, you know, how I do, does it still make sense? Can I do it better? Can I do it different? Do I need to change something? For example, in the beginning, our workers, they stopped working at 4 o'clock because it was the very first time we started the project, and we did not know, you know, how many hours it's possible for our workers to stay with us. And then after like 4 or 5 months, letting them work until 4 o'clock, we realized it's very possible. We extended the work time to be equal with other workers, so then they can also use the same bus then with other workers. So that was something we realized in doing an evaluation. We do this monthly, and then we say, okay, here's something we should change. And then you initiate the change. Also it's a process. So that what I want to say is, like, whatever you do, you need to review from time to time in order to adjust it to the new situation, because change is permanent. And as I mentioned, the quality management system before, so whatever we did, we just follow the same approach, and everybody from quality know that. It's like the do, check, act, and so plan, do, check, and act. And whatever you do, whatever change you initiate, whatever management system you build up, that's the 4 key steps you follow, and then you work on this in a cycle, which is the continuous improvement. So that's the very basic of, the very heart of every management system, and also of change management. Then I also want to talk about the inclusive benefits, because many times I was asked, you know, okay, you have this inclusive factory, so, you know, does it really work? So, you know, how about their financials and they can really work, and of course all these questions. So I have one slide when I talk about these inclusive benefits. As one benefit is, for example, the human capital. So if you want to hire people and you exclude people with disabilities from your labor pool, you are limiting your talent pool. So it's very important to be inclusive on the hiring approach. Oh, I missed the 5 minutes? Yes. Okay. Okay, then I just highlight a few things. Of course, the compliance is important. In China, we know we have a labor quota. And the last one also, when we talk about innovation, so flexibility, having people with disabilities in your staff will help you to be more creative and more innovative, because you need to have new ideas, and that's good. So that's the end then. So thanks for your attention, and I will share the slides to the organizers, and also the video is publicly available. And thanks for your time and for your questions.
Thank you very much for this presentation. Thank you, Sarah. This is really a wonderful sharing, and I do have some questions to you later in the discussion part. But the one point I want to highlight, I learned from you, is that your system is about people. So I can understand, I can feel that you start from empathy. You empathize, you understand your staff, and then you start the system. So I do have some questions reserved for you. Okay. So I would like to introduce Kenny, your time, okay, to share the good thing of your events.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you sure.
You want this?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
My name is Kenneth Shi from Humansa. I'll rather stand it like this to feel closer to the audience and be more engaging and interactive. Today I just want to share with you something about Hong Kong. Something about Hong Kong getting old, right? May I have a show of hands of family members of yourself, friends of yourself that stayed in an elderly home, 老人院 in Hong Kong? Like anyone, like family members, friends of you who have stayed in an elderly home? All right, some hands, few hands. All right, okay, could be a good sign. Could be a good sign. The reason why I want to talk about this and how this links to today's topic is because Hong Kong is aging, right? And we see a lot of negative things that relate to an aging society, which includes people getting pressured, having burden to take care of their elderlies at home. Even for those who stay at elderly homes, we will often hear from the news about bad stuff, that happen in the poorly managed nursery homes in Hong Kong, as well as elderlies which cannot afford, healthcare services. So all these issues somehow gets into a lot of our lives. And especially when the numbers are increasing in a very rapid rate. So a couple of numbers that I want to share with you about how old Hong Kong is. For those who just raised your hand on your family members living in an elderly home, the period of people queuing for a government-funded nursery home, the queue currently. It's about 22 months. So 22 months, 2 years. If you have a family member who wants to get into the queue, he or she may need to wait for about 2 years to get into a government-funded or subsidized elderly home. The most unfortunate thing is that throughout these 22 months, around 5,000 elderly passed away. So these people couldn't even get into a properly managed elderly home to age and to get good care, and they pass away. So in Hong Kong, such an international city, such a wealthy city in a way, this is actually a very sad story. It's a very sad number, 5,000 elderlies per year, which makes us, in a way, very non-exclusive. non-inclusive, mixed family member facing very difficult situations. Another number to share with you. So currently, Hong Kong is, as some of you will know, one of the people in Hong Kong live longest in the world. We already surpassed Japan a couple years ago. Life expectancy for Hong Kong people is now at 84 years old. Japan is currently 83. So, you know, we win on that, but what we've lost is the care that we provide to the elderly community and the support we provide to people who need to take care of their elderlies at home, as well as how we can prevent all these from happening. You know, what kind of support we can give it to people before they age or when they're aging. How we can sustain their quality of life before they get into any difficult situation. These would be the topic that I would very much like to explore with all of you today. So does age really matter, right? To a lot of my friends, when our parents or when our grandparents get older, what I hear very often from people is that they will somehow need to forgo their time and for some of them their job to stay at home and take care of their grandparents. And this is not new. You know, I've heard about, you know, some professionals, lawyers, bankers that had to quit his or her job just because their mom and dad gets too old. And they have no way but to stay at home and take care of them. The sort of society, the burden of the society, or the financial burden that these people would have to give up, it's huge. It's an economic loss for the society, and it's also it's a social loss for a lot of us. You know, there's the statistics that counts that for each of these people that forgo their job to be a carer, would amount to more than 10K Hong Kong dollars per month in terms of economic loss per person, right? And remember what I talked about, you know, 5,000 elderlies waiting to get into an elderly home. And there are tens and thousands more of these people, you know, in our community that would need such kind of support. And the reason why I'm standing here with my company and my team is because we want to change this. We want to do something to make a paradigm shift to a city that we lived in. For me, myself, almost all my grandparents have stayed in an elderly home. So, you know, at the age of 3, I spend most of my weekends with my parents at all sort of elderly homes in Hong Kong, the good ones, the bad ones. And I would really want to do something for it. But as a commercial firm, a lot of people would have the misconception that, first of all, this is not a very attractive business. Even though it is, the effort that a commercial company, a company that can change what we're seeing now is very limited. We don't see it that way. The reason why we set up Humansa is because we do want to provide a more holistic solution to these people. Right? So to carers, we want to lessen their pressure, their financial burden, their social burden. For people who age, we want to sustain their quality of life. For old people who really want to get into an elderly home, we want to provide them with good quality elderly home, so they get the right amount of service, the right level of care that they can compare to the other poorly managed facilities in Hong Kong. So a lot of things that we're doing could be small, but we do want to create that movement and to encourage more players in the market, private players, NGOs, government-funded players, to do the same. Because Hong Kong is aging very rapidly. 18% of our total population in Hong Kong is above age of 65 and above. But within two decades, that numbers would double in itself. So 1 out of 3 people will be an elderly, just within 20 years. Are we getting prepared to face this situation in 20 years? Is our society getting prepared? Is the market getting prepared for this? So this would sparkle, you know, lots of the discussion topic in the letter of my presentation. a sort of snapshot of what Humansa is doing. For those of you who don't know, Humansa is actually one of the new teams within a bigger company. So our mother company is actually New World Development. You know, one of the more well-known real estate developer that you guys might have heard about, 新世界. And the reason why we want to venture into elderly service and care is entirely because we see such a social demand there. Not just a commercial demand, but a social demand there. And you find this not just a business opportunity, but a socially impactful opportunity that we want to make some change. So 3 pillars that we offer to our clients or patients or elderlies in Hong Kong, from elderly home to rehabilitation care, to home care. What we believe is that in the market, we don't want people to get stressful to shop in between different services. This is what I often heard from my friends, having that stressful moment to get onto Google or call their friends to ask for the right service to provide to their family members. We want to do this holistically. We also want this to be personalized. We also want this to be of high quality. But at the same time, we want to ensure all the stuff that we provide links with a reasonable price tag, right? So a bit of many things that we are trying to provide, but we do believe that what we do would have impact to our clients. Some sharing on technology, just at the back end of this social and enterprise summit. There's another expo that's going on in this complex, which is the GIES, the Gerotech Expo. Is super closely related to that. I'll be going to that summit after this talk as well. As a lot of us talks about technology, we want to focus on how these technology would ultimately help people, right? And help our clients and elderlies to solve their issues. A few of that we find super impactful currently, it's on rehab. So instead of waiting for people to get really sick and go to hospital, get the surgery, before they become too late to receive such services, we want to focus and we want to advocate on the importance of health prevention and rehab. Super important, and these all the treatments and programs that we promote are very closely linked with technology. And the use of technology is so important that we want this to be an engaging and fun experience for our people. When you think of technology, we don't want to sell the technology as something that's cold, right? We don't want to force anyone to wear a wearable. We don't want to force any elderly to do things that they don't get used to. So our approach to technology is that we use technology only when it would increase engagement and would be increasing the satisfaction rate of our customers so that they will stay longer during their rehab process, so that they will enjoy more, so that they won't feel that these rehab and health prevention process is a resistance to them, right? To me and my friends, what I always say to them is always that the use of technology would only benefit you if you find it fun to do, right? For a lot of elderlies, what we see is that they resist from getting treatment because they find this as a very painful and time-consuming process. And we do want to change that. And only if we succeed in changing that do people get healthier. And when people get healthier, all of us would be less released, can spend more time doing more constructive stuff, can spend more time doing more engaging stuff, right? These are some of the equipments that we have, including equipments that help with stroke patients, including equipment that helps with dementia, elderly, and all of these have only one purpose, is to make people's life easier, is to make carers' life easier, to make elderly's life easier and happier. A very short video that I wanted to share with you that just happened at one of our clinics. Just a brief sort of story about this patient, Mr. Wu. So Mr. Wu is one of the popular line dancer in Hong Kong. He does line dancing for most of his life. The one unfortunate thing happened a few months back to him is that he suffered from stroke. Right? So very young, very energetic, but suffered from stroke that limit his ability to work as a line dancer again. This story really touches me and my team because of his sort of vision and resilience after getting from stroke, and how he believes that with the right amount of care and rehab and with the right use of technology can really empower him, right, to live a new life again.
咁我知道胡生咧，佢之前咧就係一個國術嘅教頭嚟嘅，即係你見得到佢中咗風之後，佢個情況有啲咩明顯嘅唔同咗咧？
講嘢啊、思維啊，同埋佢個行路啊、手腳係冇咁靈活嘅，整一個右邊係即係喐唔到嘅。佢瞓覺先，我未瞓着，我就要睇下佢有時要轉身嗰時，我要去擁佢咯，幫佢手轉咯。
我第一次見胡生嘅時間咧，大約喺個半月之前，即係胡生中風大約4個月到。咁胡生咧當時都係未識轉身，胡生嘅上肢咧係缺乏針對性嘅訓練。咁當時胡生咧其實係日常生活咧都要胡太貼身照顧，所以胡生胡太嘅情緒咧都有受到影響嘅。
一個禮拜咧會嚟2次嚟呢一度揾治療師Ryan 咧做運動嘅喎。咁啊做啲咩運動咧？
拉筋啦，物理治療啦。
Ryan 教咗佢之後咧，佢又識得即係自己中意邊個方向，佢就去邊個方向。咁佢又翻到屋企咧，又可以活學活用咯。咁就係最好嘅嘢。
經過我評估之後咧，其實我覺得胡生咧係好驚跌親。佢行路嘅時間咧，全身尤其冇受中風影響嗰邊咧係好繃緊嘅，所以影響咗佢嘅發力同埋影響咗佢嘅平衡力。
咁有冇啲儀器你覺得佢係幫到胡生，即係明顯有呢一個進步啊？
即係嗰個 mon 咧就係有個公仔咧，就佢要帶領個公仔再執嗰啲錢嘅。佢就玩到咧就好似啲，我係見到係有啲小朋友咧，好似玩嗰啲電子遊戲機咁嘅，玩得係好投入嘅，好緊張下嘅。有時左邊啊，有時右邊咁，見到佢係都幾緊張下嘅。但係一執到嗰陣時咧，又見到佢又好似又幾開心咁。
因為執到金啊嘛。
係啊，執到佢即係佢又做到啦。係見到佢係由個輪椅起身嗰下，嗰個平衡力係好咗嘅。
而手部功能方面咧，除咗一啲譬如電療刺激肌肉之外咧，中心咧亦都引入咗一啲智能手套啦，或者機械手。咁喺一啲遊戲嘅情況之下，胡生就能夠投入主動參加佢嘅手部復康，希望胡生嘅進步咧係慢慢得以提升嘅。咁令到胡生嘅自信心咧係亦都係可以提升。當然啦，我亦都教咗胡太同埋胡生嘅陪人咧做翻一啲正確攙扶技巧啦，咁同埋呢一啲居家運動教育，等到胡生咧可以喺自己嘅時間，亦都係做翻一啲適當嘅治療同埋訓練嘅。
開始到而家咧就真係嗰個轉變係好大嘅，因為我自己本身都有本簿咧就寫低佢每日個進步嗰個情況嘅。係啊，佢每日都有個驚喜俾我，每日都俾我寫低到一啲嘢嘅。
咁我知道咧，即係胡生佢有一個目標嘅嚇，咁咧因為佢之前咧就好中意打鼓嘅，
打親咧就自己又會擰下咁樣嘅。佢啲師兄弟啊朋友見到佢咁樣擰咧就話佢係好中意、好享受，先至會有咁嘅動作出嚟。佢而家成日都係仲係講話希望可以打得翻鼓㗎。
係打鼓嘅聲係點㗎？
咚咚鏘，咚咚切，咚當當當當鐵咁咯。
哦，我哋人山優社會繼續提供優質同埋專業嘅服務，為更多有需要嘅患者燃點希望。
So as I said, how we look into helping clients falls on the root of how we can help their family members, as well as how we can empower the patient themselves. Right? So this is always my strong belief that in order to cure the aging society, or in order to cure to a lot of sick patients, the ultimate solution is not just to build as many hospitals as you can. It's to work with the community, to work with the carers, to work with the patient, how we can empower them, right? So they rely less on the care, the sort of very limited resources that the society already, the society have. So these people can go to the hospital less, can stay with their home more, can spend with their family members with more time. And with the use of technology, as you said, as a gamifying experience, as an entertaining experience, to let them stay longer to see the effectiveness of the rehab process. So a lot of it, a lot of clients like Mr. Wu benefit from a holistic solution that we provide to enjoy an effective rehab process after they suffer from big disease like stroke and other sort of this serious disease that the elderly people would suffer. We also believe that with an enhancement of lifestyle would improve and make the society more inclusive. So a lot of the sort of myth that I often hear from people is also that after I get retired, my family members won't hate me, may hate me. A story, not a story, but stories that I also hear from people or men who retired is that, they see more conflicts when they get home with their wives, when they start working. So the other approach that we do is to sort of make retirement, make elderly lifestyle more colorful, more engaging, as if they still have a new chapter of life after retirement. And the most important thing, of course, is to encourage them to stay healthy and to engage in health prevention and intervention programs. So a trip that Humansa just organized in October that we led a group of retired elderly to a hiking trip in Japan, right? And very engaging. We received a lot of positive feedback. And throughout the experience, it's not just about a bunch of people going to Japan, but more on the sort of community engagement with these people, the sort of bonding in between individuals, and the sort of pre and post-trip health prevention, sort of promotion of why prevention is so important, and to encourage you to do more exercise and do more outdoor outreach activities with our trainers and among themselves. What we also see from other markets in Asia is that it becomes a lot more common for elderly to engage in various kinds of activities that in the past, only adults like us can benefit, right? So hiking is one of them. Nowadays, even a 70-year-old, 80-year-old elderly is able to hike with the right amount of support. For yoga, for instance, we do have yoga lessons that tailor for elderly. So yoga is not only just for the 20s and the 30s. Yoga could be for the 70s. It's actually very good. As a health prevention sort of activity. The top right picture that you see, if you can't see clearly, it's a arcade center that tailors for the elderly in Japan. Right? So the Japanese sort of operator is encouraging elderly to play video games. Right? And the research that supports that with the right amount of video game every day can actually help them with dementia prevention and lots of neuro-related diseases prevention. So in summary, what I want to say is that even though Hong Kong is a very old city, we're just making baby steps to improve this. And a lot of the effort would lie on different group of stakeholders, including the government, including social enterprises, also including the commercial sector. So as one of the players in the commercial sector, we want to reimagine how people can age. We want to give options to people. We want the society to become more inclusive to people that age. Because at some point in life, you and I will be part of the community, we'll be part of the gang, right? And I hope that at the point when we age, there will be the right amount of services, facilities, program that we can see the benefit of it. So let's start early and let's start it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenneth. May you stay on the stage? We have our discussion. May I invite Sarah to come up on the stage? Thank you. Okay, we start the discussion. All right, okay. Sarah, I give you a question first. The MIF, well, you mentioned the inclusive factory is a pioneer in China, as you say, right? This is the first factory in China, the first inclusive factory in China, right?
To the extent that I know, yes.
Okay. And can you share the difficulty more on how you handle that? I mean, you need to recruit the PWD workers. You need to justify to just your boss, and you need to find a lot of arrangement of what I heard from you. So can you share more on that?
Yes. Thanks for the question. The main difficulty, I think I already have shared when I just spoke about it. That was like to convince parents of those people with intellectual disability, autism or Down syndrome, to trust in us as a employee, to understand that we have a very safe workplace, that their kids are well treated, that they are fairly treated, that they don't have a dangerous task. So the main challenge was to let the parents believe in us.
How difficult is it? Is it you just talk to them like, come on, or it a long time and you need some other kind of support?
You know, you can look at this as difficult, or you can also look at it as a chance to learn and to explore and to build up partnerships. So that's what we do. So for us it was, when we realized that the parents are one key partner, we have engaged with them on multiple events. We have invited them. We have held open days so they get to know our company, they get to know us. We have visited the daycare centers many times to get in contact with the potential staff we hope to hire, with the daycare center facilitators, because they also are one key partner and they need to trust us. So where you can say it's difficult, or you can just say, you know, it takes some time and you need to do it step by step. So, and you know, if you allow things to over the time to grow, then ultimately they will work out.
Yeah, you're saying your team go beyond, leave your factory, go outside and meet them, and then persuade them, and then they trust you.
Yeah, not persuade. You know, it's more like, you know, sharing and inviting, and you know, if it's, and then you hire a few workers, and then the parents come and they see the change, they talk to other parents, then other parents come and see what's possible, and they are also okay that you hire their kids. So it's, you know, it just takes some time. So it's just has to be done step by step. So if you want to do things like that in a short time, it may not be very successful, because you can maybe hire the people fast, but also you will lose them fast. So you just have to allow. So one difficulty, if you want to use the word difficulty, was maybe to be patient enough.
Okay. This is blessing. You got a really open boss, leaders.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned about their mindset, and
can you talk about more on what kind of mindset they have? And can you name the mindsets?
Yeah, the mindset is that it's very focused on people and looking at what people can do and growing on that. For example, when I was hired to work in China, it was my first job in China and I had zero Chinese. I could not speak any word in Chinese. I had no understanding about the industry I'm going to work, and I had no understanding about the Chinese culture. And yet I was hired because I have a skill which he needed to have. I have a very big endurance. And that he needed a person with endurance, so I was hired. So of course he can say, I cannot hire you because you cannot speak Chinese, you don't understand the people. Actually, that was like, I was not able to speak, I was not able to hear, I was not able to see. But I knew that, I have to walk and walk and walk, and ultimately it will work out. So the same what we do today when we hire people, we look at what they can, and that's what you have. That's a inclusive mindset. Or, for example, another example is that, in China is the 1.5 quota, that the company has to have 1.5% of their staff to have people with disabilities. And we seldomly communicate that because we are far beyond this quota, because this quota if we talk to the finance department, they are one stakeholder, then we mention the quota. But when we talk to everybody else, we don't even mention it because that's not the motivation to be inclusive. If the quota is your motivation to be inclusive, we believe it's the wrong approach. So we are inclusive is because we believe everybody has the right to have a job, and as long as we are creative enough to make the work environment accessible, everybody can also perform the job. That's the mindset.
Yeah, I agree. Can you speak up better Mandarin now?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you mentioned is with your leaders and your management focus on what you can do, your strength.
Yes.
So that's why you mentioned that actually the first day you come to China, you are like, you cannot talk, you cannot listen, and but you have something good, strength. That's the mindset.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not common in Chinese community. I would say that we tend to focus on what you cannot do. So it's changing, and the mindset is different from normal. You don't agree with me, right?
Yes, I don't agree.
Okay, yes, okay. Come on.
The project we did, this Inclusive Factory, that's one project out of all the diversity and inclusion. In addition to that, we have about, as I mentioned, more than 300 people with other kind of disabilities, and yet I'm here to introduce the program and I do the PowerPoint, but all my team is pure local Chinese, so they did that. Cool. So it's not me. I'm here to speak because I cannot bring 50 other people here and to speak. It would be too confusing, but they have the same mindset, so that's why it's possible. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Great. So Kenneth, you saw some photos of like the older people. I'm approaching that, and honestly, in Hong Kong, we will foresee some problems, like people become older and long. And I don't know whether I should say this is the problem or not. But I would say that to most people, when they get older, they don't got enough resources. They don't really bother to do prevention. I don't have money. I don't got enough money to go to a better doctor sometimes. So how can you change the mindset, or how can you push your good concept or your good initiative? Can you share?
Sure, it's a very relevant question. As I said in my presentation, right, the worst thing that we want people to do when they get old is to get really ill and get into the hospital when things becomes too late and irreversible. So I guess two approach that we would want to advocate. One is to let people know that health prevention is not as difficult to understand and there are actually various options to help them to achieve that. One example is that in our clinic, we see a lot of patients with dementia. And there are often cases where these people with dementia could be cured earlier if they discover that they have a higher risk when they're younger. So what we introduce in our center is a device that is non-invasive, that's very handy, that can detect the risk of dementia within 5 minutes. It's actually a technology that we work with CUHK Medical School, and we are the first private clinic that introduced that technology. So if I get into the clinic, what they'll do is just very simply take a picture of a retina. So it's called a retina image analysis technology. And within 5 minutes with AI and the technology that CUHK provides, you get a score of how much risk you may get, how much dementia risk you'll get. And with that score, we're able to immediately tailor programs for you to prevent dementia. Of course, it's not guaranteed, right? You may still have a chance to develop dementia at some point in time, but would you want that to hit you in a year's time or in 10 years' time? So, and the technology that we introduce is 1/10 of a cost of an MRI. So if you heard of MRI, it's costly. You need to get into the hospital to do that, and it's invasive. So these are technology that I believe would really help people with a reasonable cost and with a much easier and patient-friendly experience to encourage more people to do that. And the second approach that we advocate is that health prevention often comes with a lot of friction. Shopping with various expertise or medical professionals could be very painful for many people, especially if you're busy, right? If I want to go back home after a long day, I would just want to lie on the sofa and get a good sleep. But the earlier you get into that preventive intervention sort of cycle, the less disease that you'll get. It is very direct. And we want to get people's peace of mind by providing a holistic solution. So when people approach us, we have this care planner that helps people after basic assessment of what they may suffer. We tailor program that fits to their lifestyle. What kind of diet they should get, what kind of exercise they should do, what kind of risk that they may have, diabetic risk, high blood pressure, all sort of stuff that people know about, but may not have that courage or time to look into. So we do want to be that bridge or middle person that facilitate people to get into a more healthy lifestyle.
Okay. Thank you. So can you share what KPIs is Humana has? Like, it looks like you are a corporate enterprise. You make money, right? You are making profit. But on the other side, you are like doing kind of a preventive things and then education and things like that. But it's difficult to measure. So, in your company, or when you sell to your boss this project, and what kind of measurement or what kind of achievement you are looking for?
I think when we approach this, let's face the fact that this is a very big market in a way that we believe that any single player in the industry can tackle all the problems. So we come into the position that as long as we can solve, some of the issues that we described, we've done a pretty great job. And it's a very long-term project, to be very honest. It's very different from sort of normal commercial projects or retail. When you sell something, you get the money and you get, happy customers and they come to you. This is a much longer-term investment. This is a people's business. So when we talk about people, technology, we believe it's a combination of both. And it's the trust and the process of education that we need to invest in to win people's heart and mind. What we believe is also that although we are a commercial firm, only if we can make real social impact and long-term healthcare impact to people? Can we make, are we sort of enable ourselves to win this sort of long-term profit model? And on the other hand, honestly speaking, I think we're just servicing that gap that a lot of government subsidized facilities cannot serve. As I said, it's such a big market, right? You have the middle income payers and customers. You have people who cannot afford services. So the market is so big, and the population itself is just going to age more and more, right? So and the shortage of service providers and options is already huge in Hong Kong at this stage where we're seeing. So let's see how it rolls. But at the same time, we also want the message of prevention to get into most people's mind as quick as possible, so people can, deal with it earlier rather than later.
Thank you. Sarah, in the video you mentioned that you can do that, other companies can do that, right? Yeah, that's good. I want all the companies can do the same thing. So what kind of support you think, like internally or from the government or from other stakeholders, can help to foster other companies to adopt to what you are doing? Same thing. Do you have any idea on that?
Yes, like when we talk about the employment of people with intellectual disabilities, is very important. You have a trained staff amongst your staff who understand what is the type of disability, how to communicate, how to make the development plan, how to access or how to change the workstation to be inclusive. So that's a job profile is a so-called job coach. And so that job profile is very, very, it's easy to find trained job coaches, for example.
Is it full-time specific job coach, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's easy to find trained job coaches where I come from Europe, because this employment system is more frequent. In China, it's more difficult to find a trained job coach. So what we are doing now in Flex, we are training job coaches, and also we hire workers, then they work in our MIF department, and then later they can join other companies. So we are kind of a training institution, and that's very similar to what Taizang is doing. They're also training job coaches, and then they can work in different companies, and they're also training the workers, because especially the first months, there's lots of educational work need to be done to train the workers about, things which may be easy for you and me. For example, that's your cup, it's not my cup, and that's your seat, and that's your place, and that's my working place. So, but that's all new things for the people to learn. So that's what we will train the workers, and then, so that's the kind of support we can give. What is of course very important is that the education system is inclusive, because if people in an early age understand that people, if they walk a little bit different or they talk a little bit different, at the end of the day it's all people. And if kids understand that, that's the best, because then they will become the inclusive adults, and they will become inclusive leaders, and that's I think, then everything will be much more easier. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So do you do something else more than job coach? This is awesome. To nurture the sense of empathy. So I do have one more question. Is the sense of empathy changes along the last few years when you employ PWD employees, or you do something more to nurture the sense of empathy?
You mean to raise awareness?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, we do many things. We have, for example, just last month we had an open day in our factory where we work with the Shonwang Parent Association. They are also focusing on families where the kids have intellectual disability, and we had like 100 external speakers in our own company. So that's a key event where many partners and stakeholders can meet and exchange. And the more a topic is talked, the more it appears on the agenda, the more importance it gets, and the more people are spending time on that. So that's one one thing, we work with our local government on many also awareness and promotion incentive. We invite regularly other companies to come and visit us because we believe, even today I'm here and I show you the movie and the PowerPoint, but if you come in our company and you see it with your own eyes, that's the best moment, because then the people really start to understand, it works. The people are really performing a task, and there's an input and the output and the product at the end. So we have always open doors. Every month we have an open day where we invite companies, potential parents, potential employees, which we think they would like to work for us, to come and visit us. So.
And other companies?
Also, they are visiting us on a regular basis to learn how we set up the system. Yes.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, this is important. Like they have chance to know what you are going here, and then you invest time and human resources, everything to let the community knows that.
Yes.
And you also mentioned if the government can help a little bit more, they'll be better, right?
What I mentioned is that if our education system is more inclusive, it would be a huge benefit. Yes.
All right, thank you. Hey, Kenneth. So today we are in the SC Summit, right? Social enterprise. So it sounds like you are quite heavily on because you're a startup from rural development. So are you naming your company Humansa is a social enterprise, or how do you name your company's nature?
Cool. I think I see this in many different ways. One is that I would assess the success of Humansa not just on the dollar sign, but on how much impact or how much user that we can reach out to. As I said, like Mr. Wu, how many Mr. Wus can we can we help? And I think angles like this match quite closely with how we see social enterprises too. And to be very honest, a lot of the new projects, new cases and stuff that we do, the primary aim of that is not to assess how much profit we earn. It's to assess how much impact and how we can and whether that program actually help people. Because what we believe is that if the stuff that we offer cannot help anyone, a price tag makes no sense if we sell it in the market. So this is the way that we look at things on prevention, on the sort of screening that I talked about, and also in terms of education. We do work very closely with organizations and the community to offer free or very low-cost health seminars and engagement. So if you see those seminars, it's a primary purpose for us to make money out of it? Of course not. But we do want to raise awareness and let more people benefit from the right way to keep themselves healthy. Of course, at the end of the day, if they find Humansa to enjoy our services, it will be great. Even if they don't, I will be equally happy because we're slowly changing people's mindset, and this is often the thing that we also we're seeing more and more, not just on how much profit we make, but how much impact and awareness that we are making to change that.
Are you collaborating with other like NGO, SC, or other people in the communities to do more promotion and to do more education?
Yes. So there are a couple that we have previously worked with, but we, of course, with the right opportunity, we are more than welcome to learn more on what kind of program that Humansa and the external partners can collaborate with us. We're very open to work on a solution together.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. So last question to you both. And when we first invite you to come here, and the title today, the session title is New Inclusive Power. What it's all about. So I want to know if you want to share something on that from what you're doing. So can you give us some words so we can take it away? Useful. New inclusive power.
I think actually it was very easy for me to have the connection because we truly believe that inclusion is the increasing trend, and it will be in the power of the future. So it will become it is already a big topic, and it will become a bigger and bigger topic, especially when we talk about the world of elderlies. They require inclusive design in terms of facilities, employment, services. So if it's on the agenda of some things today, it will be on everybody's agenda sooner or later. So that it will have big power.
Yeah, your inclusive design you share is very powerful. So I'm so pleased you share that other companies can come to learn, to understand what you are doing. That's really, really powerful. So let's see how we can push over the wall. Thank you very much. So, Kenneth, how do you think New Inclusive Power, what's this is all about?
To me, I would say this relates to whether we have a humanized approach to things. So, Humanza, the name, has two parts, human and answer.
Yeah.
Right, and I would say on most of the projects that we work with, the first thing that we think about is whether this is humanized. On the health prevention treatment that we talk about, on how we can help elderlies at home, how we can get more humanized. Because it ultimately is a people's business, and often the sort of issues that we hear from the society is that there's a gap between services and whether people are satisfied with the service. And a lot of existing players in the market offer service that couldn't match people's standard or what they need. And the key is to have a very humanized approach to really solve people's pain point. So in terms of carer, in terms of health prevention, in terms of rehab, in terms of the design of elderly homes, we try to be as human as possible.
Yeah.
And as easy as possible to minimize all the frictions, on the journey. So in my presentation, I talk about holistic. I talk about this sort of personalized approach, humanized approach. All of the stuff that we do, we believe that the easier you get into this concept of prevention and so rehab and stuff, the more graceful you can age in the future. And I guess all of us would want a future after your retirement to age healthy and gracefully, and hopefully we can provide that.
Looking forward. Thank you. Thank you for your sharings. So it's time for questions. So anyone have a question? It's your time. No? Oh, Peter. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah. For you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a question for Fax. So sometimes in an organization, when we try to arrange an inclusive workplace, so let's say it's in the top management, it seems like in your case, you guys are very good. You really want to do it. But on the middle level, on even the frontline level, right, the direct supervisors, they might sometimes see it as, oh, this is so troublesome. How do you deal with that?
Thanks, Peter. Yes, of course, the top management is important, and then the key people are the line leaders. For example, we have lots of workers, they have different kind of disabilities, and they don't report to my boss. They report to the line leader. Maybe they see my boss in 1 year, one time, but they see the line leader every day. So the line leader, they are one focus group. Whatever we do, we need to address the line leader. And we do it in the same approach. Then we do it to all of the staff. We are having permanent trainings, inclusive activities, inclusive awareness campaigns, We bring people together, we connect them to each other, and you know what? Some people then they start to open up, they become our partners, and some people don't. But no, we pick the partners. You know, it's not like if you force these changes on somebody, it's not very successfully. You know, we have had, for example, teams where the line leader just don't want because he was overwhelmed by the situation and he could not handle, and then this reflects back to the whole team he was leading. So we also have learned, it was one of our lessons learned, that you know, we need to give it time. And a training is not done one time, a training is done like it's repeating, it's maybe every quarter, or as also when we have the new line leaders, we need to consider the fluctuation of the line leaders. So it's, if you ask me like how we address that, is by doing many, many little steps every day.
Any more questions? No? No, let me conclude. Let me conclude the session, the panel. So from both of you, I can learn a lot. First is you guys are start from empathy. Okay, and really, really amazing. From FAST, it's like you build up a factory. That's not easy, especially for the inclusive factory, and then you make it step by step, very systematic. But I can learn that you start from people. So human side, people, human. So we are addressing some social problems, start from empathy and start from human. So I'm looking forward to your success, and I already know you are successing, and then you keep going, and then become expanding to other countries or other companies, and more people is like similar to FAST, and then they have more and more inclusive factories in the world. That'd be great. Okay, thank you for your sharing, and I here close the panel here. Thank you.